I know you've been asked at just more times than you care to be asked about returning, about the injury in the Pacquiao fight and having to pull out. So instead, I wanted to go back and I watched some old interviews of yours when you were still making your way up through the division, particularly one before the Kell Brook fight. And you were talking to Mark Kriegel and you called yourself the sweet science. This was before you were calling yourself the big fish. What do you think prompted, if you can remember that interview and remember that time, did you call yourself the sweet science then? Because you weren't calling yourself the big fish yet.
Um, uh, Probably because my fighting style, because people who just know boxing know that I'm not just a aggressive fighter. I consider myself more passive aggressive, and I'm a guy that put pressure on you without just putting too much overbearing pressure where I'm just getting caught with with shots that I'm not supposed to get caught with. I use my jab responsibly and use it well. Body shots. And I feel like, everything that I did was like a science to everything I do is a science to it. So, and that is calculated too. And I feel like, that's why it's a sweet science because, people say boxing is sweet science, but, not everybody, box like the sweet science or it's the sweet science. They're not calculating it. They just going through the motions, just fighting. With me, everything's calculated. It's calculated aggression, basically.
Every fight changes a fighter. You learn new things. You've had quite a bit more experience from that fight until then. How would you say your style has evolved? It's still very precise, as you've mentioned. We've seen you box against Mikey Garcia. That was, people thought he would outbox you in that fight. And we've seen you do lots of different things to defeat your opponents over the years. How would you say your style has evolved since then?
I think my style evolved. I'm more patient now. Used to be, a point where, if I get hit, it's still like that sometimes. Like if I get hit with like just a good shot or great shot, like now, well, before it was like I gotta get it back right away. Now, it's more calculating. I have more patience. I know it's a 12-round fight, and so I can get it back. Either later or just not at that moment. Well, I'm definitely gonna get it back. So I think just the patient aspect of it, of the sport, and me just, basically just not trying to get something or trying to get the win right away. I can break you down over rounds and not just, going out there and just throwing punches or, trying to land the shot is more, everything's like calculated and precise.
Is the confidence in the confident and being patient, does that come more from more confidence in your own ability? Does it come from being a student of the sport? Because we know you watch all the fights, you comment on the fights in social media, and you truly seem to enjoy the sport as a whole, as well as being a competitor in it. So where does that patience come from?
I think it comes from, an aspect of everything that you said, mixed in one. But I think, mainly it's, you have to believe in yourself and believe in your abilities and know that even if your opponent had a good, 15 seconds or a good minute of the round, you gotta have that confidence to know that all right, I'm gonna have a better, 2 minutes of this round. So and not just, go act too reckless and get caught with a shot that I'm not supposed to be caught with. I'm just gonna, continue doing what I'm doing and it'll work. So I think it's just the confidence factor.
Last time I talked to you, you were a father of two. Now you're a father of three. It's a big difference in adding one more to the gang. How's that been for you?
That's been great. Enjoying my son and my other two girls, they love when they play with them, and I bring him to the gym a lot, and he's different from the girls because the girls never really try to, mimic me or box or throw punches. Like they do it like every blue moon, but with him, like he really like trying to put on the gloves and the mitts and hit the bag and throw punches. Just walking around the house just throwing punches and stuff like that. So I feel like it's a lot different from having girls.
Have your two girls ever tried to box each other when they're in a dispute over a Barbie or something?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, the younger one to try to jump on the oldest one because they're only like a year instant change apart. So, they'll try to fight each other every now and then, but they'll end up in crying.
There'll be more of it. There'll be more of it. Trust me. So now you head into April 16th against Yordenis Ugas, and he's very excited for this fight. He was able to capitalize on the opportunity after you had to withdraw from the Pacquiao fight. The boxing community is small, particularly at this weight class. When you look at his come up through the sport, what do you respect most about his come up to this place?
I feel like his come up was all about persistence and basically taking his opportunities because it's a lot of time that he got calls on short notice that he was able to take because he been in the gym or him just defecting from Cuba and it took him like 7 to 8 trips and he didn't give up. He still tried to come out here. So even him retiring from boxing and coming back. So he didn't show a lot of resilience.
As you mentioned, he has been called into a lot of fights on short notice. Does this time, knowing that he's had this time for a while, does that make him a less or more dangerous foe? Because sometimes a fighter that's called the last minute can be more dangerous because a fighter hasn't had time to prepare for them. Does this make him less threatening, more threatening, the same, since he's had ample time to really sit and think about and prepare for this fight with you?
I think it makes him the same. I don't, I don't, I don't. I think he's been, the same fighter throughout from the fights that I've seen. So I think it makes him the same. I think, he has the same hunger and the same ability, to come out here and put on a great show and a great performance. Only thing I can do is just make sure that I'm 100% prepared and ready to do my part.
Hmm. Being in camp and taking time and having a big gap in between fights can be very challenging for people. During this time you've managed to stay on weight even when the other fight got canceled. You look very lean, you look very strong. What is the difference between you in your preparation before the Pacquiao fight that didn't happen and this fight? Because it's been about 2 years. So what has kept you up and motivated?
Just basically staying in the gym. A new sense of focus, and I think having the sport almost took it away from you. Then motivated me too a lot too to stay on track and stay training and just keep my focus because I feel like a lot of people don't realize what they have or anything like that until they almost lose it or if they when they lose it. So I was fortunate enough to to almost lose it and just get that new sense of urgency and new sense of just respect for the sport that I needed to get. So I just look things in that perspective where you know it may be it may be a con and stuff, but I feel like it's I look at different things as a pro too. So and look at it in a different perspective. So I feel like it helped me a lot to give me a new sense of revival in the sport and just basically get my heart back pumping. pumping larger for the sport.
How are the animals? Have you added any more? When I last talked to you, we were talking about the farm and what you were learning from the animals and the horses and them teaching you patience and all those sorts of things. Have you added any new animals, and what new lessons are you learning from this type of lifestyle now, this peaceful, quiet, kids, family, animals, and all of that?
I got about I added probably like 20 chickens. I got a new dog. I think I added 2 goats. Yeah, 2 goats. And I might have added a horse or two. But just basically what you said, like just teach you patience and just and being able to take care of, different animals and stuff like that. I feel like it's more helped me out a lot too, because it's like therapeutic just to be out there and, taking care of the animals and making sure that, they got water and things like that, and just keeping your mind off different things and, not thinking about, boxing 24/7 and just doing something, productive with your time.
Mhm. Okay, one last question about the animals. I'm not hating on the animals. So when you have a farm and you have chickens and you have these animals that can produce food like eggs, milk, etc., would you ever want to be self-sustaining? There's always something about, people testing positive because there's something in the beef or something in the food. Would you ever want that to be a goal, that the farm just provide everything you need?
Definitely. I'm out here. Well, I'm not out here, but I got some people out here building me a larger pond right now so I can stock it with fish and things like that. And I do eat the eggs. I don't drink cow milk, so I'm not I'm not gonna drink the milk, but being self-sustainable, I do want to start a greenhouse too, with my sisters because they into that. So I want to start a greenhouse where raising basically our own plants and food and things like that. So I'm not gonna get everything from my land, but I do want to get a lot of stuff from it. So make it a lot easier, especially the eggs. The chickens make a lot of eggs, so I'm always having eggs, just sparingly around to give to my family. So it's good.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, champ. Best of luck to you on your fight. Always enjoy seeing you in the ring, and have a wonderful fight on the 16th.